it's a competitive world. Nobody's going to hand you success, but you have to be really smart about it. It's not about just working harder. It's about working smarter. You've got to do the work. And sometimes it's just not fun, but that's part of the picture.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good night, Todd Tresidder. Previously, episode 1142 of the 12-Minute Convos podcast. It's been just 2 years, 10 months, 8 days, 30 minutes since we last recorded that conversation. That was then, this is now. Todd, how are you doing today?
Doing great. How are you, Angel?
I am as excellent as can be, my friend. When we last spoke, oh my, I remember looking at financialmentor.com like it was yesterday. And I was really fascinated by the input and the quality that was going on that website. How have things evolved for you a couple of years after, Todd?
Good. I've been focused on the course development. I have a course called Expectancy Wealth Planning that's taken up most of my time, continuing to build the site out with new content and just growing, just making it more, better, different.
There's a guy that his stuff reminds me of your stuff. He's from Nashville. His name is Michael Hyatt.
Well, that's a nice compliment. Michael Hyatt's quite a phenomenon. So to be put in the same category is a very nice compliment.
Yeah, it seems as though you're doing the work, my friend. Like you're going through the website. But again, it's one thing for me to say that, but you've gotten awards from other institutions for the website, yeah?
Yeah, it's won quite a few awards, actually, in a lot of different categories.
So how does it feel, like looking back from being that child entrepreneur delivering on the paper route to this day? When you look back, how does it make you feel to see what you've accomplished?
It's a bizarre journey. You can never forecast your future. You know, you take it one step at a time, you move forward with what makes sense, and you adjust as you learn and keep moving forward. The world that I'm in now is so rapidly changing, in terms of, it's actually the world is just catching up to the vision. I started this back in 1997, 98. That's how I got the URL Financial Mentor. Obviously, you can't get that today. And so I started way back when, it's like the dark ages of the internet. And the whole vision was to separate financial advice from investment product sales. And so now the internet's just catching up, and there's a whole phenomenon around, course sales and educational product sales, a lot of online education platforms. It's like that's going to be something that's going to go huge in the next decade. And that was the vision from the beginning. So it's interesting to see that the internet is now catching up to the vision of what Financial Mentor always was. It's like it's in the right place at the right time.
Have you seen that theme arise often, or even repetitively, where you are ahead of the people, of where people are? Have you seen that often occur?
Yeah, that's been the pattern of my life. I mean, I launched a hedge fund back when they were just the oil and gas partnerships, and they were private placement partnerships, and there was no such thing as the sexy term of hedge fund, but it was this idea of skill-based investing, that you weren't just passively accepting market returns, and how do you organize something and give it a legal structure and, run an investment management program. And so later on, they became hedge funds, but we were doing it 10 years before the term even existed. And like right now, I'm very much into solar energy, electric cars, things like that. I think that's just really getting momentum now. And I think we're going to see Moore's Law apply to that over the next several years. To me, internal combustion engines and using gasoline and sending money to oil companies is just this archaic joke. I mean, once you drive an electric car, you'll realize it's such a superior technology. It's hilarious that anybody would even buy an internal combustion engine today.
When you've done the work that you've done, where you're committed to one focus, you start to see parallels with principles that are applicable across your entire life. Sometimes, right? Has that been a scenario with you?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I started when I was one of the early pioneers of statistical and mathematical risk management systems in the financial markets, which sounds really fancy, but it really boils down to two equations, which is the mathematical expectancy equation, which is probability times payoff, and the future value equation, which is the expectancy multiplied by time, how it grows over time. And that's how you build wealth, but it's also how you grow yourself personally in life. It's just a basic fundamental truth. And that's why it's the nameplate on all my courses, whether it's expectancy investing, expectancy wealth planning, or expectancy living. It's the basis. You see a lot of popular bloggers now, like James Clear and Cal Newport and Scott Young, and they're talking about the importance of habits and deliberate practice. Well, if you think about it, all they're really doing is applying expectancy principles to life. And how you grow your life and improve the quality of your life, no different than how you grow wealth.
One of the major parts of that is that wheel, that spoke, if you would, which spells out mental, spiritual, career, physical, personal, financial, family, those 7 pillars. Which one is your favorite? Which one is your less favorite of those? And how do you manage to keep balance in your life, especially where finances is like your thing, right? It comes naturally now. How do you balance the rest of it?
I don't believe that there is any such thing as balance in life. There's always more to do than time to do it. And so the best I've ever figured out, I tend to do focus stint work. So I'll work on a project, complete it, and then I'll go focus on something else. But the idea of balance, I've never had it. I've never understood how to create it. I've never seen anybody else really create it either. I think it's just one of those urban myths.
And the work that you bring, of course, that's a easy way to beat the system, to work harder than the next person. How has that evolved, the way you approach the work ethic you've developed over the years?
There's no replacement for a solid work ethic. You have to have it. It's a competitive world. Nobody's going to hand you success. But you have to be really smart about it. It's not about just working harder. It's about working smarter, about how you evolve the product you're creating, about how you evolve the business with the times. There's a lot of intelligence that goes behind it, but there's still no replacement for hard work. You got to put the time in. And there's a lot of people with this prosperity mindset, prosperity consciousness, where they, talk about how you think your way to success and you do all these things. No, you've got to do the work, and sometimes it's just not fun, but that's part of the picture. I'm more attached to what I create than how it feels creating it. I'm about the creative process than, I find work hard. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's really joyful too. It's just, you got to be committed to the result.
How has the family been affected by everything you've been doing? Your wife, your children?
Well, they haven't suffered too much. I mean, we take 3-4 months of vacation a year. So, that's just our life.
One of the great things I love is the concept of perfection is your art. Well, those are my words, right? From listening to our conversation. Perfection is your art. Would you say that's an accurate statement?
I think for me, it's more about a focus on quality, but there is a point of trade-off. I think, I prefer the saying, a perfectionist is never perfectly happy. And so I don't think there is such a thing as perfection, but I think for me anyway, it's a focus on quality, that I care about the quality of what I produce and the quality of the experience that people get from it. And so I think the focus on quality comes through, but I think perfectionism is dangerous. I'm not there.
With age comes wisdom. Unfortunately, with wisdom doesn't come age.
How about this? Unfortunately, with wisdom doesn't come youth.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, now it's edited. I love it.
Yeah. I wish as I gain wisdom, I would get younger, but unfortunately, I just get older.
Exactly. You've seen a couple of things, especially death. I am imagining that a couple of friends, family members by now would have passed. How do you interact with that possibility, the possibility that you could die today or tomorrow?
Well, it's not a possibility. It's a certainty, right? It's, everybody's going to die. It's just a question of who's on the accelerated plan and who's on the time delay program. But we're all heading the same place, which is death. And so I think you have to come to terms with it. Death is the ultimate deadline, pun intended. Death is what defines life. Think about it. How would you view your life if it was endless? It would be completely different. The fact that life has an ending creates a storyline. It creates a beginning and an ending, no different than how stories are that we understand it. And so, you define your story, you define your life through the beginning and the ending. And, thank goodness we have death. Can you imagine what the world would be if we were populated with people from way back when, right? You have to cycle through it. So my time will come just as yours will and just as everybody listening will. And so I think it's nothing to fear. It's a natural process, and we're all going to get there. Just sometimes it's ugly, that's the hard part. So hopefully it's a graceful death.
Well, my friend, I am glad that I've had this opportunity to jump on a call and hear that you've not given up, that you've continued pressing, pushing, helping others. Very core to what you're doing. Yes, you're helping yourself in understanding and learning, but it seems as though there's a passion for helping others pursue excellence, hope. So I do thank you for this. In closing, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
No, that's it. I enjoyed the interview, and hopefully it was valuable for people listening.
financialmentor.com. Check it out, folks. Todd Tresidder, thank you, my friend, for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.